is Steph from Lovable, and with me I have the lovely Jesse Forrest from thewebcopywriter.com. And he is one of Australia's leading copywriters. Say hi, Jesse.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about some tips for copywriting. And in particular, I'd love to ask you about some tips. You know, you probably have been on Facebook and seen some of the ads out there. And I'd be curious to find out what you think about the ads that are being produced and the copy in particular being produced for those ads, and if you have any additional tips for them at all. Obviously there's a few different types of ads floating around, but I guess any just general tips for headline and...
You definitely see, I think any avid Facebook user notices the ads. And if you're like me, if you're in the industry of either creating advertising or if you have an online business, then you probably notice them a bit more. And for me, I guess I have a trained eye for advertising, and I know what a good ad looks like and what a terrible ad looks like. But Facebook advertising is certainly a new kind of media. In a way, it's like classified advertising because there's a lot of, well, there's not a lot of space. It's just a smaller amount of text, but the difference is the image. So I think most of the time, and I say this to my clients who I work with when I'm writing advertising for them, is an image has the power to capture attention to your message. If you think about the newspaper or magazines, studies have shown when people are browsing those, flicking the pages, the first thing we notice is the image, the second thing is the headline, and then often we notice the caption underneath the image. Or it can go another way. It could be image, then we'll read the caption, especially if we're not sure, if we don't really understand what the image is about. And then lastly, we'll read the headline. And then if the headline's interesting, then we'll start reading the first paragraph of copy, but we can lose people in that first paragraph of copy if that is not interesting. Like, I'm sure we've all done it, that you've been reading the newspaper and the headline's like, naked housewife arrested or something. You're like,
is that what you think?
Actually, that's what I'm thinking. No, that's the start of a headline in a famous ad, which was naked housewife arrested for almost losing X amount of kilos in something weeks.
What?
So
I want to know more.
Yeah, we want to know more. The first part I liked, because I'm a guy, but also then it becomes a bit too of an obvious advertisement, right? Naked housewife arrested, they could have left it there. That's enough curiosity in my mind for me to want to continue. When they start talking about losing X amount of pounds in X amount of weeks, I go, oh, that's an ad, right? So we don't want our ads to look too much like ads some of the time. Anyway, let's get back to Facebook ads. So I think the obvious thing is you have to test lots of different images to see what's going to appeal to your market.
Yeah.
And I've seen studies where they said an image of a smiling woman, not a professional woman, so it can't look like a model who's posing, needs to look, you know, like a...
Girl next door.
The girl next door.
Yeah.
And if she's...
Take a screenshot.
If she's smiling at the camera and it's an obviously, if it's an obvious candid photo, not a professional photo, then I've heard studies or read studies that gets an incredibly high click-through rate, or at least it gets noticed more. Then I've read weird studies where it said, oh, the same kind of photo of a woman smiling with a baby gets a lot of attention.
Oh, wow.
Or a woman who's, if it's for a dating ad, if she's wearing glasses, not sunglasses, but like reading glasses, then that gets a really high click-through rate as well.
Wow.
So depending on the market, there's all these different studies, but generally from what I've heard, maybe you can share what you've heard, is that for images, a smiling young woman in a candid style photo who looks like the girl next door is going to be...
Are you saying that I don't look like a model?
I'm saying that you look great. No, but the idea is not to offend women. No, the idea is that if it looks like a professional photo, then our minds think that's an ad. That's an ad. If it looks like a candid photo, then we think, oh, that's a real person. Through just, I guess, watching TV or being in a society and noticing so much advertising, we see professional photo and we think ad.
Yeah.
So when it's a candid style photo of a person, then we don't think ad. So whether you're a model or not is irrelevant. You should just look like your friend took the photo as opposed to a professional photographer did.
Yeah, awesome.
So I think the first thing is have an interesting image that's going to capture their attention.
Obviously, you want to try to make it as relevant as possible in most cases to what you're promoting or to what you're selling, what you're trying to get people into. So whether it's a sign-up page or anything, it needs to be relevant as well. Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's a matter of testing, always testing different images, and I think Facebook promotes that anyway.
Yes.
After a few days, so if you want to keep getting your ad shown, you need to show another version of the ad. So even Facebook are kind of, nudging you to do that.
Yeah, and you can also split test on Facebook as well.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
So split test the ads.
So I think another thing you want to test is having different coloured borders around those images. Some people say red borders, some people say blue borders, that they get more attention. I've noticed what I think is really cool is instead of having a coloured border, I don't know how I can explain this with words, but it's an image that looks like, instead of having a straight border, like a box around the picture, it looks jagged, or it looks like it's been torn away a little bit.
Yeah, nice.
So it looks... Here's something really interesting, and what I love is that old principles of advertising can be applied to new media. I'll give you an example from a book I studied when I was learning copywriting. This was an ad that had mistakes in it. So it was an ad that was in the newspaper, and instead of looking like all the other ads with clean borders and text and the type and the fonts were all, perfect, they purposely got a pen and they drew and underlined and circled some words in this ad, and then they sent it to the newspaper, who then printed that ad. So you've just picked up the newspaper, you're flicking through, and everything looks fine, and then you find this one ad, and it looks like someone's been drawing all over it. Now you're going to think, have they just sold me a second-hand newspaper? That's going to capture your attention because it's so different.
Awesome.
And it's not what you're expecting.
Yeah.
So there was underline some words. There was starbursts or, little, what would we call them?
What, like doodles where people draw on
around the important points, like
doodles?
the phone number. Yeah, doodling, circling and crossing things out.
I draw doodles. No, I don't.
She does. You should see her wall full of doodles. The idea was that by making something look so different to what's usual, making it look unusual, you're advertising, by drawing over it, or another thing they did was they purposely put spelling mistakes all throughout it. And then in the beginning of the ad, they said, if you can pinpoint the 10 spelling mistakes in this ad, and if you send them in, so you write them all down, or you circle them and send the ad in, we'll give you 20% off.
Awesome.
So it's almost like a game. And so people now are focusing intently on your advertising, which who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
And then there's an incentive, which is 20% off if you can identify 10.
Fantastic.
In reality, they gave 20% off to everybody, but that was a way of really engaging people.
Yeah.
So the question to you is not what is the latest, secret to getting the best click-through rate or the best exposure on your advertising, but the question is, how could I make my ad unusual and different to what everyone else in my category or my competitors are doing? And that might be making the picture of your ad look a little bit weird. And that could be, someone with a funny face. It could be maybe the photo's upside down. That would get my attention. If it looks unusual
I'm
and
going to
different.
try that.
Actually, that's a pretty good one.
Cut that out. we won't let anyone else know about that.
Yeah, if it's upside down, now you always want to, of course, stay within Facebook's guidelines. You don't do anything against their policies. But if you can be unusual, have a funny face, test that out, maybe have the picture upside down, maybe have a jagged border, maybe use different coloured borders. I think all things like that, they're going to appeal to your market. Definitely try. I saw one I really liked, which was the picture, the image of the ad was someone had drawn a stick figure.
Okay.
And then they'd written or doodled like the message on that image. So it was a stick image, and then it was like, make X amount of dollars per week. It was some kind of business opportunity.
Yeah.
But that was clever. I liked how they'd drawn it. Maybe you could try cartoon images. Maybe that would stand out and be unusual and catch your prospects' attention.
Yeah, awesome. Actually, going back to the whole spelling mistake thing, I'm not the best speller and my grammar can be a little bit off at times. I'm trying to get better, but every time I make a spelling mistake on any of my posts, I get so many people commenting about it, which is a fantastic way to actually boost engagement on the Facebook page. Because Facebook's algorithm is always looking to promote the pages that are most relevant. And in order to make sure that they are promoting the most relevant ones, they look for the ones that get the most engagement. So if you're getting engagement just from a spelling mistake, because there's all these spelling Nazis out there, then you're actually boosting your page engagement, which is making you more relevant in Facebook eyes. So. In the comment section below, just write down, tell us about what your most valuable outtake from today's video was and what you're going to start applying to your own business. Just make sure that you comment. And also don't forget to subscribe to the Lovable newsletter, which is on the website, because we send out new tips every week on how to improve your coaching business and how to grow your coaching business with social media. And subscribe to the channel if you found this valuable today. Subscribe to the channel because there's more videos coming along shortly. Yeah! See you next week.
See you next week.
See ya!